In the mood for Easter, we sent the Spectator's Isabel Hardman to learn from one of London's top chocolatiers, William Curley. Here's her excellent roundup of the week. You see what I did there? Excellent. Who writes this stuff?
Oh, hello. I'm busy preparing some Easter treats for the This Week team. Making chocolate takes a long time, you know. Far longer than 32 seconds. And if you're not careful, you could end up like our politicians, with a bit of a sticky mess. Whoops! Sorry, chef. On Monday, the PM started his week with a trip to the supermarket. Not his favourite one, mind. He's a chatty Waitrose kind of guy. But Asda had a cracking Easter offer on. Get 12,000 jobs for free. Unfortunately, those pesky journalists had other tempting things on their minds.
Maria Miller is in her job because she's doing a good job as Culture Secretary. Obviously, she went through this process and a committee found that she had made a mistake in her mortgage claim, so she repaid money, she made an apology, and I think that's the right thing to do.
Come on, Isabel, you've got to put your back into this a little bit more stirring. Come on, let's move it.
But Downing Street melted faster than a chocolate teapot under the heat of media scrutiny and failed to solidify any support for Miller. MPs and even Employment Minister Esther McVey were given free rein to criticise Miller. It's at times like this that a minister needs his or her bag carrier to step up to the plate for them.
I do think this is a witch hunt by the media, who are angry about Leveson and equal marriage, and they're taking it out on Maria.
Many in the Conservative Party think it was McLeod's clumsy text message alleging a witch hunt that did for the Culture Secretary. Others think she was egged on by number 10. Miller tried to sweeten her constituents by penning an emotional piece for her Basingstoke local newspaper. Perhaps if she'd written this on the day she'd spoken in the Commons, she could have survived. But by this point, support was like gold dust.
It is a question of honour. When this happened, there's honour at stake in this. And I think she should quietly have gone to the Prime Minister and said, look, I think I should go. And if the Prime Minister say, yes, I think you should, thank you for doing a good job, but you can come back at some time later. And honour is saved with all of that. And I'm very disappointed. In fact, I'm rather outraged about it.
Even so, most of us thought she would try to stick it out until Wednesday, when Conservative backbenchers meet at the 1922 committee. Us journos were sharpening our HB pencils in anticipation when Mrs. Miller decided to take an early Easter break.
I hoped that I could stay, but it's become clear to me over the last few days that this has become an enormous distraction, and it's not right that I'm distracting from the incredible achievements of this government.
So was she pushed, or did she jump? Number 10 has shut down all discussion of this, repeatedly saying that it was Miller's decision to go. So it sounds like she did get a visit from someone, and it probably wasn't the Easter Bunny. Oi, you! Shoo! But what really did for Miller was a mix of backbench fear of a public backlash, a lack of warmth from senior colleagues, and the Chancellor's allies were furious that this week's sweet news about the economy was lost in the mix by the ongoing Miller muddle. Whoops!
Isabel, what have we here? Oh dear, this isn't up to our standards.
The Miller story certainly dominated the news agenda. Labour's pledge to give English councils £20 billion disappeared faster than a 32-second apology. So at Prime Minister's questions, Ed Miliband seized his opportunity.
He said 6 days ago she had done the right thing and we should leave it at that. Does he now recognise this was a terrible error of judgment?
Why didn't he call on her to resign? Right, he seems to be, in my view, the first leader of the opposition, probably in history, to come to this House and make the first suggestion that someone should resign after they've already resigned.
Speaker, I've heard everything. It's my job to fire members of his cabinet.
In opposition, David Cameron prided himself on his finesse in judging the public opinion. But he's misjudged the public mood now, and many Tory MPs I've spoken to are worried that it's left them looking vulnerable before the European elections, and politics in general with a bitter taste. Still, there's one bit of politics guaranteed to leave you with a sweet taste and a sugar high. Andrew, this is for you.
That's one Isabel made earlier. Michael, what did you think of the whole Maria Miller shambles?
I thought it was probably one of the biggest shambles I've ever witnessed in
Really?
British politics. Yeah.
Because